Indian government has now asked state-run banks to rescue Jet Airways before it goes bankrupt. The government announcement comes on the back of an announcement by the airline to ground more of its aircraft as it battles a huge pile of debt. Remember, earlier today, Aviation Minister had called for an emergency meeting with Jet Airways management to discuss compliance issues. Jet Airways is struggling to stay afloat as it is saddled with debts. The airline has delayed payments to banks, suppliers and pilots, some of whom have forced airline to ground several planes. And we are joined by our correspondent Pragya Jha from Mumbai. Mumbai is the headquarters of Jet Airways and all action happening there. Very good evening to you, Pragya. First of all, do you think finally government will be able to convince bank to rescue Jet Airways? Is that the last option before the embattled airline now?
That's right, Sumit. In fact, the government is trying its level best to bring a consortium of banks together led by the State Bank of India to help, in fact, mitigate the financial crisis for India's second largest aviation company, Jet Airways. And in fact, it is not going to let any kind of acquiring take place or, in fact, let Jet Airways claim bankruptcy, because if this happens, it's going to badly batter the aviation sector. There are already job losses in the Jet Airways. Employees have not been paid, and then there are other venture movers who have not been paid, and then there are several others who are, in fact, employees are even going through delayed salaries. 41 of their planes, aircrafts, are already grounded, in fact, and we must remember that the aviation sector presently is on the rise. It has been booming, and the election for India is around the corner. Now, any kind of bankruptcy issues that will follow up for Jet Airways could in fact mean not very good for the Indian government, because the aviation sector was something that the government would be riding on. It gives jobs to millions of people, and this was in fact writing the success story for the government, and that is why the government is trying its best to salvage the Jet Airways, before it goes into bankruptcy. And there are immediate plans that it has. In fact, the finance ministry has been taking regular updates from banks as to what are the plans that can be put forth and what kind of financial remedial measures can be taken for India's second largest airline company.
It will pull out of Jet Airways. It will not put in any more money. What's the solution for the pilots? And there were stories that Indigo is hiring the pilots. But what about the staff of Jet Airways? How badly now they stand as far as the firings are concerned at Jet Airways? They will not have any option now if Jet Airways go down.
That's right. So it really means uncertainty for the staff of the airline, and we must remember that long back, in fact, when even Kingfisher Airlines was going through a similar situation, that was how troubled the employees were, and day in and day out it was most difficult for them because the company was not able to keep up its regular promises of salaries given to the staff, and hence this could really mean job losses and hampering of the job situation. Other than that, this could also mean a total disruption for the investment climate in the aviation sector, and hence the government is putting all its efforts together to in fact save the Jet Airways, privately owned airline in India, so that things could really balance out ahead of the elections here in India.
One last question to you, Pragya, before I let you go. It means more problems for the flyers because they will have to pay more as fare, because if one airlines go down, definitely others will jack up airfares. So do you think airfares are going to shoot up after Jet Airways? If there's a problem there, the planes are down now.
Absolutely, Samit. Now, 41 of its aircrafts are already grounded, which means that there are a number of cancellations, and which also means that the government's own plan to get low fare airlines to the hinterlands of India could be seen as going down the line. And in fact, the government, which has always attempted and said that we'd want to bring the aviation sector to every small town and city of India, could be seen going down slowing, down its plan. But also for the common man on ground, this could mean, a high rise, in fact, a rise in the tickets, in their fares, in their local fares that they take on a daily basis. And the debt that the Jet Airways that the airline presently is going through would be converted into equity for the investors, that is for the bank, which could again mean that the taxpayers' money is going to go into salvaging a privately owned airline in the country. And this happens very rarely, but this could be the plan forward for Jet Airways, which is ailing right now in financial crisis.
All right, Pragya, thank you so much for getting us all these details this evening. We'll come back to you for more details on this story.